What is going on, everybody? I hope you are doing well. Here just to kind of have an open mic night and see how you're all doing. See how sales have been for the week, what everyone's plans are for the weekend, how to get better, how to improve our reselling businesses. I wanted to go over and share with you guys some of my sales stats for the month of October, and kind of just give you a point of view on what's going on in my business, how I can get better, because I think that there's always something we can do to get better. Um, I had my best month in sales for the year when you combine eBay and Poshmark. So that's kind of what I wanted to dive into today. We'll get into that in just a minute. I'll let people roll on in. I know it's kind of a late night talk here, but if you guys have questions about your reselling or me personally or business or whatever, I'm here to answer them. So, yeah, I've been selling on Poshmark now for about 2 months, 2.5 months. I sold almost $2,000 worth of sales in my first full month in September. And then in October, we did just under that in sales at 1,800. It was like 1776. Sold 88 items in September, and we sold 84 items last month. But the nice thing is, I can just really add that in as an additional income, right? I didn't like specifically start out on Poshmark. I basically just cross listed all my items from eBay onto Poshmark. My VA helped do that. And now I have almost two identical stores, right? I have 10,000 items on eBay and I have just about 10,000 items on Poshmark. I still have a few items left to get listed on Poshmark. And at this point, the early stats for Poshmark, it looks like it's going to be an average between $1,800 to maybe $2,200 in sales every month on Poshmark, bringing in net about $1,000 a month, which is just great. A little extra side income. So I did $15,000 in sales on eBay. We'll get into that right now. But so here's the stats. That's what you get to see. For the month of October, we did $15,000, 15,058 in sales, up 6.6%. Quantity sold 587, average sale price 2565. Net sales 7116 and selling costs 7200. So my whole goal for the rest of the year and going forward is lowering my selling costs by picking up better items, picking up higher average sale price items. So I'm giving less of my profits to eBay. You can see here overall pretty decent. September wasn't the best month for me, but October, when I combine October eBay sales with Poshmark, that combines to about 16,800 in sales, which is really nice. My highest month for the year was back in or when was it? Oh, clicking on the wrong screen. It was let's see, this year. So if we go to the best month of the year so far was in March at 16,333. So 15,058 was pretty much my best month. Uh it was my second best month if we're just counting eBay. But if we add in Poshmark, then we got pretty nice, 16,800. So I'm just going to continue going forward with that. I really like, just having that extra stream of income coming in. Things that I'd like to improve are obviously my average sale price, and my net. So how will I improve my net is by lowering the amount that I give to eBay. So right now I'm giving 47.8% of my sales to eBay. That's things like shipping, fees, things like that are going to be eating into my bottom line. So I'm just going to be going out, being diligent and sourcing more, picking up better items. But I want to know, how was your guys' month of October? Was it good? Was it your best? Was it your worst? And how can we get better? Because we can always be doing things to get better. Um, I'm not just gonna stop and just be done and okay and happy with what making $7,000 net a month, before taxes and before cost of goods and a lot of all the other little, fees that go into that is good for the amount of time that I'm spending on eBay and reselling. But I obviously want to get that better and higher. And the only way that I can see that getting better and, increasing is just me sourcing better items, going out sourcing more, and just really being proactive about that. I do think it's the sourcing that really moves the needle in this business. And if we're not able to go out and source as much as we want, then the thing that's going to be struggling is our resale business. Unless you live by the best, rag house or sourcing area in the world, downtown New York or, in LA. I don't live in those highly populated areas, so I do need to go out and really find better items as many times as possible. I need to have more swings at bat. I need to have more at bats, right? I need to be able to have more of an opportunity to find those better items to be able to pick up and put in my store. So maybe implementing 3 sourcing trips a week. I'm really trying to find a way to start slowly getting out of picking up stuff from the Goodwill bins. I do like it for the fact that everything's pretty cheap, but I've finally found a few thrift stores that I can implement on my sourcing route that aren't going to break the bank. There's some 50% off days that these thrift stores do. There's dollar days that these thrift stores do. So now, how can I just implement that route maybe 2 or 3 times a week? My whole thing with that is, though, I don't think that they're getting enough donations at these thrift stores for to see a constant rotation of new items. Like I might go there 3 days later and I might see the same Gloria Vanderbilt jeans sitting on the rack. So we'll see. I'm gonna try it, and you'll be the first to know. But yeah, if you guys have questions, drop them in the comment section. I am here to help. I'm here to answer any questions. I want to know how your sales were last month. I want to know what you're doing to get better in this business. Here to help. So, Martina, hello. You asked, do I have to pay to see this? No, you do not. Other than your time, which I appreciate very much. I know you guys could be doing anything on Friday night, but you came on here to hear me talk, talk about stuff. So that's awesome. I appreciate everyone's time here. I come on here just with the intention to just get to know the community more, to hang out with you guys. We can talk about anything. And I'm here and open. It doesn't need to be reselling related. I really just want to grow that bond with the community and the people that have subscribed to this channel. This channel has been going for more than a year now, and I'm just blown away about just the amount of people that have reached out and through Instagram and the people that were a video where I was making and didn't really have like the thought, oh, who is this going to help? It actually ended up helping many people. So I'm very thankful for everyone that has come on here and really just voice their opinion. I want everyone's opinion to be heard because we're all in this together. For the most part, everyone that's subscribed to this channel is a reseller in some way. So we're going to talk reselling and we're going to talk shop. What's going on, Ryan? Ryan is in the house. Check out his channel, Taught to Profit. It's a very good one. Man, you do quite a bit of content every week, every day, it seems. Really cool stuff. Good biblical principles as well. Bobby, what is going on in Northeast Ohio? How's it going? Bobby, are you still doing those flea markets? I know you said that was kind of a seasonal thing. I didn't know if you were still doing that this time of year since the weather's about to change. Classy Lady says, hello, everybody. Good to see you. Bobby says, October was a struggle. eBay, 250. How was it a struggle? Were you still doing your listings? And, I know you were more into Poshmark. How many listings do you have on your eBay store nowadays? We're seeing a lot of people throw in the towel on eBay. I haven't seen so many other resellers actually that do social media and that are on YouTube just throw in the towel. I say stay persistent, Bobby. Keep going. See, 250 on eBay and 1100 on Poshmark. So I don't know. I think you were in the process of cross listing all your stuff from Poshmark onto eBay, but that can be a time consuming process. So take your time. Um, but yeah, eBay is interesting, you know. Olivia says, seriously, what are you all promoting at these days when you say you have good sales? So that's right on point because, I'm trying to lower my selling costs. And by doing that, I have raised my shipping price. And also, I lowered my promoted listings by two more percent. And that greatly impacted my store was getting 450 to 650 in sales every day for the month of October. And then on the 26th, I decided to promote 2% less in my store just to see what happens. I was super confident that we were going to continue to get those sales rolling in. And from the 26th to yesterday was my lowest 7-day total of the year. I dropped below $2,500 in sales in 7 days. I'm not complaining. That's still great, but it's interesting that I lower my promoted listings 2% and I didn't even hit $400 in 1 day of sales during that time. So it's interesting. Like, that shows that what that tells me is that my items aren't good, that I need to promote my items just to get those items to sell. So it's a good learning lesson. You fail forward, you learn, and you realize, okay, you know, if I pick up better items, then I can lower my promoted listings. But I don't have those better items yet. Out of the 10,000 items that are in my store, I maybe have 2 to 3,000 good, like silver items, gold, silver items, and then 7,000 of those items are like bronze and like cardboard and like whatever's lower than that material, dirt, dirt items. So just items that I sourced early on when I wasn't, living in closer to the city and I was listing 50 items a day. So just learning that lesson of like, okay, I can lower my promoted listings down once I start filling the majority of my store with just more in demand items, like items with better sell through rates, items with higher average sale price. So that's really gonna like make it happen for my store. But and there's some cases where people like in our Patreon, they can lower their promoted listings because their items are in demand. So there is no need for promotion and they see little effects. So it's up to you, Olivia. What are the types of items that are in your store that are going to really hold up against you lowering your promotion rate? But yeah, I mean, you can see suggested promotion rate. I saw suggested promotion rate for Kenneth Cole jeans at 18%. I don't think anyone's going to be promoting Kenneth Cole jeans at an 18% promotion rate. Really bad brand, and you really probably need to promote it at 18% just to get it to sell. So yeah, you got to take all those into consideration. Classy Lady says to take flat lay pictures, I'd there a particular table I need to purchase? Oh, is there a particular table? No, no particular table. I mean, people just, can use a piece of plywood. I would use some type of table. I don't take complete flat lay because of the looking down in my neck. I tried it. It just really took a toll on my body after just like a month. And I had more back pain than I've ever experienced. But if that flat lay table is up high, maybe like 5 feet off the ground, you're not at such an angle. This is why I prefer more of a vertical flat lay, something that's like at a 90-degree angle that's leaned up against the wall. That really helps me from like bending my neck and shoulders and just kind of really ruining your posture. So that is something to consider. Try the flat lay and see if that works for you. It works great for most people, but I'm not most people. And I really want to make sure my neck and back are well taken care of. If I'm taking 30 sets of photos every day, I want to make sure that it's really easy for me to get up and take photos and not have to worry about neck or back pain. But flat lay has its advantages too. So yeah. No table in particular. You can use what you got. You can use your bed. Just put a sheet over it. Use what you got. I'm all about that. Martina says, glad to see you. Been watching your non-live shows. I'm mainly on Poshmark. Started eBay October was good for me. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm meeting more and more resellers nowadays that are cross-listing everywhere. Less and less people that I'm meeting where they're just like, no, I'm just on eBay or I'm just on Poshmark. I think now the word is out with so many YouTubers talking about it, whether you want to use Vendu, One Shop, Resell Kit, List Perfectly. There's so many different platforms nowadays that open our business up to make an extra bit of money in sales for work we already did. Like the work that I did on eBay with the photos, the item specifics, the description, the pricing, that's already done. So why not take that info and put it on another platform where more people can see it? It's a no-brainer, right? Um, so while there's a lot of controversy on what you should and shouldn't do when it comes to cross listing, more people I'm meeting go, wow, it's so nice to be on Mercari, Poshmark, eBay, and Depop, especially with that auto delist feature on most of these platforms now. It just makes it like, especially with eBay kind of struggling, it just makes more sense to be like, let's try it. What do I have to lose other than a bit of my time? So that's really good to see more people kind of branching out and being open minded. I'm sure eBay doesn't like it, but at the same time, we can't put all our eggs in one basket, right? You hear that cliche saying all the time, but it is so true. And then when it comes to any type of thing like starting a business or investing, you want to be able to have multiple streams of income to kind of protect ourselves as entrepreneurs and business owners. Flea markets are done. Yeah. Um, that's good though. I mean, at least it kind of can allow you to focus on your resale business, and you know, I think focus is what the acronym is. Focus. So what is it? Focus one course until successful. So focus on one course until successful. So the tighter that your focus is, the more that you could put into it. And I truly believe our reselling businesses are businesses that what we put into it is what we get out of it. Like that, I think there's a lot of uh, talk about, especially on YouTube, where like you almost get the perception that this is something easy. Like, oh yeah, just go find some stuff at a garage sale, list it on eBay, however you want, and just sit back and make tons of money. That has never been the case. I've never felt that. I've never had that. It's always been a learning process for me. So, really focusing your attention on the things that you really want to see grow, you will see them grow the more that you narrow your focus on them. So it's a beautiful thing. And Bobby, maybe that's something that's a blessing in disguise to help kind of get more sales on Poshmark and eBay. Ryan, you said, okay, thanks. Yep, I upload 3 times a week. Very good. I mean, just like that, you focused on your channel, you see it grow, and it's just all about maintaining that focus. YouTube is very much similar to eBay as far as like you're gonna get out of it what you put into it, unless you're into cinematography and videography and you make the best videos and you release once a month. I think that's a lot harder for the normal average person, like me, to do, to just create a masterpiece and expect it to get millions of views. So the more that you focus on putting quality and quantity out, you will see things grow. So that's awesome. Good to see you, Ryan. Hope you're going to have a good weekend. What's everyone's plans for the weekend? This is the big yard sale weekend, starting to rain here. So I think our last weekend will be this week for yard sales. We'll see what we find. If you guys have questions, comments, we're going over my eBay numbers for last month, and we're kind of deep diving them and to see how I can get better. We did have our best month combined with eBay and Poshmark last month, doing $16,800 in sales. But I obviously want them to get better. I want to trend in the correct right direction. Um, all year has been ranging between 13,000 and 15,000 in sales. I'm trying to break that 20,000 in sales mark. I think we'll get there as long as I keep getting better items. Desi says, "Hey." Olivia says, "Yikes." The disgruntled octopus says, "Morning, humans. Good to see ya." Robert says, "Just got on Poshmark. No one told me about the square photos." Yep. Yeah, a little bit different on Poshmark. It's a different type of platform. The cool thing is, I've sold, I think, in combined those 2.5 months, like 190 items. I know in the last 2 months, we sold about 160, 170. One return. You can still get returns on Poshmark, but I think it's a lot harder for a person to return an item versus eBay. eBay, I can average anywhere between 10 and 30 returns in a month. So it's pretty crazy, the difference. But that's good. I'm learning new things on Poshmark all the time. I think the one thing that really helps is the sharing. You got to be sharing all the time on Poshmark, or else you ain't going to be making any sales. If I don't share my Poshmark closet one day, I will make zero sales. So that's something, that you learn. You live and you learn, and then you apply it, right? Resell Crazy says, actually, Flip is free to cross list, and they now have background remover. I use it to list. I use it. I use to list perfectly, but it had major issues. But if you're new and a low SAR, yeah, exactly. I tell most people just to try Flip, especially when it comes to the sharing. Posture VA is $25 a month, and not a lot of people want to spend $25 a month for that. And then the Vendu is another, 50 to 70 to 100, depending on what plan you get. Minimizing all of those upfront costs to at least get your stuff cross listed. Use Flip. They have that. You can cross list on Flip. You can share your Poshmark closet on Flip. One that has actually been interesting, um, was One Shop. I don't know if you guys heard it, but it was talked about in the live we did with Marcus and I on Wednesday. A lot of people seem to like it. One Shop, it's like $39 a month for unlimited. And the key thing that I liked about it is it has built-in sharing for Poshmark. So instead of me paying 70 for Vendu and 25 for Posture VA, I can get onto One Shop, and for $39 a month, it's unlimited. It has auto sales detection, I think, for eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari, and they have the Posture VA basically built in. There's so many other options out there. I think Vendu and List Perfectly are some of the more expensive ones. So if you're just getting started into cross listing, you might want to try, just like what Resell Crazy said, just try Flip to start until you get all of those items cross listed and put over. Then you can start venturing out onto those other platforms. But it's been a journey for me. I probably could have saved a couple $100 by not just, you know, probably should have done a little more research. Another backup to that would be Resell Kit. I know Ryan Taught to Profit uses it, and it works well. It does auto sales detection for most of those platforms as well. The limiting factor for Vendu is they only have the auto sales detect for Poshmark and eBay. So it really limits you to the amount of marketplaces you can share to. So if you want to be able to share, or to be able to cross list onto Depop and Mercari and to they got Etsy, and you could do your own Shopify, then you're gonna have to look elsewhere, because no one wants to manage those sales when they come in, and oh, I need to delete it off here, I need to delete it off there. That sounds like a headache. So look into those. One Shop, Resell Kit, and then look into Flip as well. So, Bobby, you said, Bo, I have been utilizing taking items to Plato's Closet. Boom. Love it. Um, the Goodwill bins in Portland, most of those resellers or younger generation, they just go straight to Plato's Closet and they just cash out their money right there. When you can take $1 to $2 and turn it into $5 the same day, I mean, the return on investment, while it might not seem like a lot, I mean, that's great money. You can go sourcing essentially all day and turn in all the great items that you find and then get paid for them right away. That's beautiful. So, yeah, there's so many different things you can do in reselling. You can do exactly what Bobby's doing. You could sell at the flea market. You could start a wholesale business. You could flip them on eBay. So there's different avenues, and you can go on Whatnot. Just kind of find the avenue that is kind of piquing your interest. I know Whatnot's not for me. I know wholesale's not for me. I very much am old fashioned and just like listing it on good old eBay and now branching out to Poshmark. Disgruntled Octopus says, unfortunately, we lost our beloved Poshmark. Yeah. So for people in the UK, that was a big change recently. You got Depop, that's good, but I wonder, what was the determining factor that made them close things down for Posh UK? I don't know why they did it. So big blow, but there's always going to be something else that steps up in the area too. Olivia says AI was yiking you selling at promoting those things. I'm still at 3.2. Yeah, I'm a flat 10%. Um, Flat 10% promoted listing rate. What I did was change it to 8%, and that really affected my store. So yeah, interesting. You don't need to promote your items to sell items. I really do think when your items are so and their sell through rate around 30, 20, 10, 15%, you might need to promote them unless you want to hang on to those items for 5 years, which can be fine if you have a Walmart sized warehouse, then hang on to them for 10 years. That's fine. But we don't all have that. And, a lot of us are just working out of a spare bedroom or a storage unit. So we need all the space we can get. Um, so yeah, I'm back to 10% promotion. I've been at that for 3 years. I've never lowered it until last week, and it destroyed my sales. Like, not destroyed them, but it brought me to the lowest 7-day average that I've had all year. Um, Never had under 2,500 in a 7-day period this year. But now we're back. So Ryan Taught to Profit says Resell Kit also has the benefit of being a small one-time fee per listing, and it's not monthly. Yeah, I think I remember you said that once you pay the initial fee, which, for example, like if I were to import my 10,000 item store into Resell Kit for cross listing, it would cost me $250 to $300, and that is it. Then I'm able to take those items and then list them onto Mercari and list them onto Poshmark, list them onto wherever else. And all I had to pay was the $300 initial fee. So that is a beautiful thing. No one wants another reoccurring subscription. I don't think, not me. I have plenty. And I know most of the people that watch this also go, how many extra subscriptions am I going to be paying for? So Resell Kit can give you that ability to just pay that one fee up front. You get 50 free credits every month. So if you're not a big time seller and you're just listing every now and then, you get 50 free credits to also get items cross listed over. So the big thing for me was I was thinking I was going to have to pay that $300 for every platform I was on. It's just the initial import into Resell Kit. And that's awesome. It's very small business as well. Like if you go to their website, it looks very simple, but I'm a simple man. So it's easy, simple and easy. That's what I want. Disgruntled Octopus. Yeah. So who cares about UKians? We're Australian. Yeah. So I don't know what was going on over there, but it's interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Ryan says it comes out to 3 cents per listing. I mean, that's unreal. Yeah. So while you've seen a lot of social media posts about Vendu, List Perfectly, there's other platforms out there that might not have the marketing budget that are going to be far cheaper that almost do the same exact thing. Classy Lady says, I sourced on Whatnot very late last night. The more tired, the auctioneer, the deeper the discount. Yeah, it's from what I understand, like it's tiring. It's like a show. You got to have some enthusiasm and presence on camera to be able to like engage with the audience. It's not like you're just holding stuff up and going, 50 cents, a dollar. You got to describe the item. You need to go into detail on why this item is even worth bidding on. You got to know about your items. So, yeah, Whatnot's great for people that do have that extra boost of energy and really like engaging with their audience. Um, I know for me, I'm already spending so much time doing other things. Like, I'm doing a little bit of real estate. I'm getting back into that real estate investing and doing the Patreon coaching and doing, the resale business. I don't really have time to be opening up another um, area of business within reselling because it all goes back to focus, right? Focus on one course until successful. And my focus is already kind of split up into three different kind of avenues. And I'm going to keep it at that without expanding much more. But I know people that source on Whatnot and do great. But also, too, I think there's a lot less regulation and a lot less regulation, meaning like if you get scammed or there's a bad actor, that football player that was scamming for Pokemon cards, several other stories out there. It's just, it's not like really bulletproof in case you do get, the items that you weren't expecting, right? So, I think it's here to stay. It's only 2 years old, so it'll be interesting as it gets more adoption, how big that can grow. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to source from the comfort of your own home, just buy what you need? Comes out to be maybe a little bit more money than you would going out, sourcing yourself, but I think the time that you're spending, sourcing on Whatnot, rather than going out driving, putting gas in your tank, going through every rack looking for the items, and you can just have it on a separate screen while you're doing your listings and just watch someone show and see if you can score some items. I like that. I do like that idea from a buyer's point of view and from a reseller's point of view for sourcing. So uh, it's interesting. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what it turns into. Resale Crazy says, "Oh, classy lady, I do the same." Yeah, just go on the late night shows and wait till they fall asleep and give away all their items. Mary's Market says, "What does everyone use for accepting payment? I'm sick of PayPal. They take 3.5% every time a buyer uses and not a credit card." Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what country you're in or if you're in the US, but I don't use PayPal for any of my eBay transactions or anything like that. Yeah, it is not fun when PayPal takes that fee, but I don't know, yeah, what you're using or uh I'm not aware or know anyone that uses or accepts PayPal. So you said you're in the US? Yeah, I would switch that over. What does everyone use for accepting payment? So I just go through everything through managed payments. So I would definitely contact eBay and have them and ask them why you're not on managed payments, and that's all done through eBay. So you're not paying that fee every time, um, because I would not want to be paying that additional 3.5%. So I'd contact eBay. Hey, how's it going? Spiri of Manu. Hopefully I said that right. Classy lady says not all Whatnot sellers are one and the same. Okay. A lady literally screaming with her boyfriend about a Sailor Moon tea. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not on there very much. I only hear stories of what people, score and find and what's good and what's not. Um, Throwback Vintage is a good one. He is kind of a rag house owner that they sell on Whatnot. I don't know if you guys know him or not. I don't know if that's even his name on Whatnot, but Throwback Vintage on IG. I only learned about him through Chris from Flip the World, where he interviewed him, and he owns a rag house, Throwback Vintage, and they do a lot of Whatnot shows and seems like they put out a lot of good quality items. They were at one time doing 100-pound bales. Um, but I think they got so blown up that they couldn't, really fulfill a lot of those orders. Because remember, it comes to quality, and when everyone is wanting that same thing and those same bales, the quality of those bales will probably go down significantly. So, Yeah, you can check them out, see if they're on Whatnot. Uh, yeah, Classy said t-shirt. I meant resell crazy. eBay lets you use your bank and debit card. Yeah. So yeah, going back to Mary's Market, if you do have a personal debit or business checking account, you could plug that in. Payments will go every day or every week or every month, depends on how you want it. Um, but yeah, I would definitely get off PayPal. Um, so that's just my 2 cents. We don't need more fees. Do we need more fees? I don't think so. Mike C says, "Have you ever thought about pivoting your eBay business, selling wholesale, maybe selling locally?" No, no. I think the biggest pivot I made all year was going from 50 listings a day to 25, and that's as much as the ship turns nowadays. I'm not going to be making major changes. Wholesale, I'm just not set up for it where I live. I live very rural. While it may seem fun, I just think that I really like what I do, scaling down my business and finding better items. I had the idea of starting a thrift store just in our local town here, which would do really well. But at the same time, it takes a lot of overhead and paying the rent on the building and hiring employees for all that. So I think I'm really happy where I'm at. And like I said, I'm getting out and venturing into other projects, getting into real estate investing and, buying and holding properties, midterm, short term rentals. There's other things that I'm doing kind of off camera that you guys don't see. I mainly don't share it because it's not relevant to reselling. But I think right now I'm very happy where my resale business is, and I'm excited to see where I'm going to be at next year. Changing this business model from volume to more quality, and I'm already seeing those results. I mean, this was really my first full month in October doing 25 listings a day, and we had our best month yet. So, or our second best month, I guess, if you exclude Poshmark. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Don't be afraid to make changes in your business. If you have a feeling of doing something, or you know, if eBay can make all these changes, so should we. I just say don't make drastic changes. You know, um, I always say to people before you quit and throw in the towel, try something that has been on your mind, at least in your business, before you just quit. Many people have quit this year, and, getting into wholesaling and stuff like that. But um, like for me, my effort of getting onto cross listing, I don't think I would have ever gotten to that point if I didn't see eBay kind of making all these changes. So change is inevitable, and I think if anyone going forward is going to put all their eggs in one basket on eBay, you guys got to be figuring out, well, what other things should I be doing in my business to be able to help it grow. So yeah, if you guys have questions, drop them in the comments. I will go over my numbers again for the people that missed out. We're talking about the month of October. The month of October was a great month. We averaged between $13,000 and $15,000 in sales every month this year on eBay. And with the addition of Poshmark, we did $16,800 in sales um, on on the two platforms combined. The things that I want to improve here are my average sale price by picking up better quality items, and I want to improve also this number here, percentage of sales. So 48% of my total sales go to eBay. I want to get that below 40. That's my goal for next year. I want to be able to keep more net and lower my selling costs. The only way I can really do that is picking up better items that sell at a higher average sale price. So we're trending in the right direction. I can show you guys my number one category of the month, which should not take you by surprise, was underwear. I sold $1,300 worth of underwear last month. That all came from the storage unit buyout I did last year. And I was getting all that listed, and praise the Lord, it's all selling because I don't want anything to do with it. I want it gone. Get it out of here. Women's tops has always been my one or two category all year. I pick up plus size tops like crazy. So you can see here, that's really nice. Selling a lot more coats and jackets. Last month, we had that ranking number 3 for my categories. My fourth best category was button up shirts. And then fifth best is jeans, men's jeans. Out of 10,000 items in my store, I would say my store is almost completely in half of men's and women's pre-owned clothing. So, yeah, we can always improve. Things are going good. Another cool thing I'd like to share with you guys, and you can do this too, is you always want to know how much you're making on your shipping. You might be surprised. So I spent, or no, people paid for last month $4,666 in shipping labels. I spent $3,700 in shipping labels. So almost $1,000 in profit off of just shipping labels for last month. Um, I made my shipping price change in the middle of last month, so that's not going to be the full amount. Like this month will give me a more better description on kind of what I should be expecting on profit. But to make an extra $1,000 on top of the shipping or on the shipping every month almost pays for my cost of goods. So go into your sales page on your performance tab, scroll about halfway down, and type in your shipping and handling price, and then minus your shipping labels price, and that will leave you with the amount of money you made on your shipping. It's just good to know. It's really cool because going back in like October, no, going back in August, July, June, I was maybe making $500 to $700 in my shipping, but making that change just last month, in the middle of the last month, I almost made 1,000, which I never have seen going back on my monthly charts that I made $1,000 in shipping. So that was really cool, and that's another way how I'm lowering my selling cost. So very cool. How was your guys' numbers for the month of October? I want to know. What are you doing to improve them? I really don't think we're in full force of quarter 4 quite yet. I think that, you know, it's been kind of slow compared to last year. Last year in October, I think I did $24,000 in sales. I guess we could just bring them up, but let's see. Oh, I just closed the sharing screen. So let's see. Let's look. I don't know. So last October, what did we do? October 1st to the 31st. So last year in October, we did $28,700 in sales on eBay. Um, Yep. So 28,746. Selling costs were great. That's where I'd love to see them. 38%. Net sales was 16,413. Average sale price was 34.34, and we sold 837 items. So the reason why it's so different compared to this October is because I had just found that storage unit. It had many, many, many Arc'teryx discontinued jackets, CC Filson. All the good stuff's gone, right? It all sold, and it all sold in October, November, and December. So, 10, $12,000 less. That was to be expected because I don't have those items anymore. Let's go into November and just see what is to come. Was it better November? I can't quite remember. It's when we moved. So yeah, we did about $5,000 less in sales in November. I remember we moved that month, so I like stopped listing for a week, and big changes. So, but still a strong month. I think this November is going to be much better than our October. So we'll see how that goes. If you think quarter 4 has started, it technically has, but I don't think it has started on the shopping side of things. At least I'm not seeing it drastic. But Mike C, you said, I sell locally, I live in a city, and have the connections. eBay really tanked for me, so I pivoted. I also list less and source better items now. Mall brands with low ASP had to go. Oh, Mike, you're hitting the nail on the head. Same thing. I'm just over it. I'm over the volume and picking up just items just to pick them up. That is my main focus now too, is just to be able to pick up better items that I would consider even wearing and keeping. It's like I don't I want to be selling good stuff. And if I have to go out sourcing even one or two more times a week, it's worth it because it's going to help me make more money per hour. It's going to help me give less money to eBay, and I'm going to actually enjoy the photo process, the shipping process. Gone are the days of shipping items for $6.99 plus shipping. That's maybe worth it to most and some people, but I have a hard time packing items and taking the photos and creating the listing, and then I make $2.70 profit. Um, our time is valuable, so therefore I want to be increasing those profit for those items that I'm shipping out. Nothing wrong with that type of model. It's just with the many things that I have going on the side, I want to be able to be able to put those quality items in my store. Mary, you said I sell locally too, semi rural Illinois. People here want to only use PayPal. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know. PayPal is one of the originals. So, but yeah, I don't use PayPal other than to pay my lister. PayPal. Lori says hi, Bo, and everyone. Hello, Lori. Good to see you. Curious to know if you all become tired or lose motivation and energy sometimes. If so, what helps you? Yeah. Um, Earlier in the year, I was getting pretty tired before I had hired a lister. And I was getting to a point to asking those questions of like, how long can I keep going doing this by myself? Do I need to lower my listing goal? I was at a crossroads. And the idea came to me maybe in February and March when I was like, I can either slow down my listing goal or hire help. And that is when I made the decision to hire and train a lister to help take off some of the pressure of that listing 50 items a day. If I had not done that, I would have burnt out and been, really in a bad place in my resale business of just losing that motivation. By hiring that help me regain motivation, help me reanalyze my business, help free up more clarity in my mind, and be able to focus on the things that I enjoyed doing in the first place, which is sourcing, going out, finding items. That is the part of this business that I actually like doing. And you also have to go back to motivation. What is the motive to the motivation? The reason why I do this is all for my family. I love working from home. I love being around my kids, seeing them grow up. So when I lose motivation, that means I'm failing on them. And I don't ever want to let down my family, as this is why I do what I do. So that is another thing, is like that motivation is always there. It's just there are times where I have less motivation, and that was earlier in the year. And until I hired someone to come in and help, even to pay them a couple $100 a month to help, drastically changed that. And I regained the motivation. And now cutting my listing goal in half, doing just 25 items a day, really helps me have all the motivation I need to go out in that shop, take the photos, go out and source. I don't say I have to do this. I get to do this. Where before I was like, I have to go take the photos. I have to get the listings done. And when you kind of say it in that framework, it starts to be demotivating. It drains your energy right there. And I also do believe in taking a day of rest. So for the people that do it 7 days a week, hey, I applaud you. Shout out to you. But having a day of rest or even a couple days of rest is needed, for the long term. You also have to have those long term visions for your business, 2, 5, 10 years. Don't be so quick to be like, burn yourself out in a year and you're one and done. So, yes, it does happen to all of us. You just got to ask yourself, what is the motive to your motivation? Why are you doing what you're doing? And that has always helped me, and that has helped me in my belief. So take it for what you will. We don't all believe the same thing, but just ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing? Lori, you said, like many family responsibilities, illness, etc., have an effect. Absolutely. My faith, prayer time, and videos like yours help so much. Oh, I appreciate that. That's awesome. I mean, this is why I do what I do for YouTube. I think it's more important for me to really fulfill what I'm being called to do, and the overall thesis to my calling is to help people. To help people with what I've learned, with my failures, my mistakes, because I know what it's like to work a 9 to 5. I know what it's like to work 60 hours a week for someone else at a job you don't even like. So I know that by able to encourage others and to be able to pour out what I've done and what God has helped me do in helping me with this business, I know you all are capable of doing the same exact thing. And it's just takes a lot of persistence and planning to be able to get there. So I appreciate that. But yeah, family first for me, and my vision for my life always was to have a work from home type of job. But yeah, it's crazy because we're all different people for a reason. But I think for the most part, we're all created to run and manage our own business. A job has its purpose, but your job is what they pay you to do, and your work is what you were born to do. There's a difference. Your job, you're replaceable, but your work, you're not, because you're one of one. There's no one else like you. So this is why I love YouTube. I want to be able to share everything that I'm doing right now in my life to be able to help you guys, encourage you guys that you can do it if you put your mind to it. It's a mindset thing. And we get stuck in a rut, and we get stuck in a way of thinking that really holds us back from our true potential. You are greater than you think you are. And that was my whole problem for 26 years until I broke free of that thinking of like, oh, I need to get better as a person. You know, wow, who would have thought? But that's great, Lori. I love hearing that. Appreciate it. Mary says, interesting on the shipping. Yeah, I only say that to people that maybe want to try lowering their selling costs. But basically, what I did is just charge $8.95 standard shipping for all my items, to whereas the standard shipping isn't expedited shipping anymore. So I can sell a button up shirt that weighs 12 ounces and ship it out Grand Advantage. I could sell a pair of pants that I can ship out Ground Advantage, and it's an $8.95 flat rate. So you can try it. I created a shipping policy and applied that to my store, and I have not seen a slowdown. Uh, only have like a week worth of data because I also changed my promoted listings at that same a week later. So far so good, and I'm loving that. Nita in the house, what's going on? We're talking sales. We're talking how to get better. We're talking about vision. What are we looking forward to this quarter for? If you guys have questions, just drop them in the comments and we will get to them. Bobby says, I had my best month, $1,800 in sales last month. I was in the group. Oh, nice. Thanks for all the encouragement, Bo. Oh, you're welcome, Bobby. You're kicking butt. Good job. You're doing great. How are sales year over year? Because I remember last year you weren't like that happy with them. Are you going to be doing better this year? That's the cool thing. I love looking at year over year. Year over year for me, I did 178,000 last year. What I kept is going to be much lower this year. But it looks like I'm going to be about 170,000 in sales as well. But yeah, so it's interesting. I think year over year, look at yourself as just as a person. Are you getting better year over year? And that's going to tell you a lot. Um, because I hate looking at eBay sales day over day, right? That'll give you plenty of gray hair. Gem Drop says, just wondering, when is peak eBay going to begin for quarter four? If you are saying quarter four has not started yet. I sell a majority of pre-owned clothing, so I really do believe quarter four does have more of an effect on people that have newer items in their store. That's just me, in my opinion. It could be different for everyone else, but generally people are shopping for newer items this time of year. But who knows? So I really think that the best has yet to come. I think November is going to be much better than October. we'll circle back to that at the end of the month and see if I fell flat on my face with that comment. But I'm just seeing like business as usual for me, but I sell pre-owned clothing. So, but for the people who sell brand new toys, maybe you're doing great. Um, Ryan says, I downloaded your ebook last night and sent me down a rabbit hole researching for better items. I went out, but I couldn't find anything. I live in South Florida. I'll check back tomorrow. Yeah, you're in a great spot. There's a guy in our Patreon that lives in around Miami, and he downloaded the yard sale treasure map app, and there are so many yard sales. It's insane. Probably 50 dots on that map. I looked up where I live and I had two. So yeah, you're in a good spot, Florida, and see what you can find. From what I know, I think yard sales go year round. Try your local flea markets. But yeah, definitely getting to know clothing brands is like a lifelong process. Just the clothing line of Anthropology has 3 to 5,000 different subsections of that brand. So if you're really looking at brands, it's just going to take time. But find what's in your area and continue to pick up those items that keep selling. Location, right? That's the real estate mantra. But it also works with reselling too, because if you live in a bad location, um, middle of Alabama or Arkansas or Wyoming, you might not have access to the best items possible. June says, I'm working 7 days a week to get out of debt. I'm almost there, just a few more months. Man, that's great. Yeah. Just to be debt free, the feeling, the thought, there's no burden is a great feeling. And that's good. That work of 7 days a week is going to pay off. We do need to enter as people at times a season of sacrifice. Always, there's a season to all things in life. But if you have a plan and vision like yourself, June, to say, I'm going to work every day for a season, because once that season is over, the reward at the end, um, I was gonna say, like, it's unmatched. It's, there's no price you can put on it. Like you worked 7 days a week for a certain amount of time to reach a goal, and that's very fulfilling. But yeah, it's unfortunate most people are in debt, and it's a debt-based system. Our monetary policy only exists out of debt. It is a debt-based system, so the goal is to get people in debt. It's crazy. We teach kids to go to college, and while that's great to get educated, but also once they graduate, they're in debt most of the time. So, yeah, it's interesting. Debt does weigh on people, but that's awesome. Good goal to get out of that. Um, there's also good debt too, but just don't stay there, right? Classy lady says flat rate better than by the weight. I hired a listing company to help me accountable, have to have my picks ready by Monday. That's great. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with hiring a person to do your listings, just as long as you've put in the work of doing the listing so you know what a good listing looks like. I don't ever suggest people, like, when they're just starting out, to hire a lister, because you hadn't put in those reps of doing thousands of listings. So just make sure you're checking their listings and making sure that they look good. There's something that you're worth paying for. But also, to your first question, flat rate better than by weight. I think weight works well for like large items like calculated ship hard goods. But I use flat rate in for most of my items that weigh over a pound. So jeans, jackets, heavy pants, heavy sweaters. Those are all shipped flat rate for me. I usually pay $7.60 for a flat rate envelope, or $7.90 for a legal flat rate envelope, USPS priority. So yeah, I ship flat rate for most of my items, unless it's Ground Advantage, that will go by weight. But that's great. Do what it takes to get you help in this business. Nothing wrong with it. Midwest Picker says business as usual as far as total sales, except jeans, which are starting to sell more because of the weather. Yeah. Jeans, jackets, those are the things that I really try to pick up in summer, in spring, because everyone's passing them up for the shorts and the blouses and the lightweight stuff. So I kind of rotate when, as a clothing reseller, I rotate that stuff. So right now I'm focusing on shorts, linen tops, silk tops, blouses, all the lightweight stuff that no one's picking up now. It's okay. I'm going to list it now, but I'm okay with it not selling till spring or summer. But just know it's just easier and advantageous for me to be able to pick up the stuff that usually people are leaving behind. And not everyone does that. It just works for me. Um, just because jeans right now are more harder to come by, especially if you're going to the Goodwill bins and stuff like that. I know when I go through the shorts section at the retail thrifts, I'm finding great brands, Cool, Prana, Cargo, Carhartts. And I'm like, these wouldn't be here if it was summertime. They'd be gone by now. Gem Drop says, also, have you noticed a difference with eBay customer service? They seem to be less helpful. Also, noticed that I'm not getting many offshore reps. Not sure. Oh man, I haven't heard that. Um, I have heard that the eBay reps are quite a bit different now. I have heard that a couple people in our Patreon have reached out to customer service, and someone got a person in Texas, and they're like, wow, a person that speaks English. So, I don't reach out to the customer service often at all. Hadn't probably in a couple months. So I couldn't tell you that. But I do know there are changes happening in eBay and on eBay. More changes than I've ever seen. I've only been on eBay for 3 years, and I've never seen as many changes as there is or has been this year. But I always think, now that my mind has changed, I think change is good because my mind changed. I see the world differently knowing things change. I really do think like depression and stress comes from thinking things would stay the same. This is why I believe very much in never making a permanent decision in a temporary problem, because things will change. If you're struggling in your business right now, it's just a season. It's okay. It's temporary. So, but we can't let change happen to us. We should not be a victim of change. We need to initiate change. And that may mean starting a whatnot, starting wholesaling, starting to go out maybe a couple times, like I've had to try to do more sourcing, change it up. Also, too, what is that definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Um, Changes on eBay, changes, and they should change. It's like they had the same website for like from 1995 to like 2020. It was the same. Change. Come on, eBay. Um, but yeah, that's good. Yeah, congrats, Bobby. Good job on sales. Classy Lady says, I have a library of fashion books to learn vintage labels. Wow, nice. Designers, fabrics, so I know what I'm looking at in a estate sale. That's beautiful. Um, I mean, that is such a resource right there. I'm sure you could pull out a lot of good keywords out of those books, but that is like next level learning. Instead of just listening to some guy blab on YouTube, like me, learning the real history behind fashion and learning the real great concepts and terms in vintage books about fashion and clothing. That is like the next step right there. So good job. I love reading. So that's awesome. So Gem Drop says, definitely agree. We have to move and be adaptable to change. Yeah. I just, want to leave you guys with this is just like, what are the things that you're doing this weekend to get you closer to your goals? Ask yourself that question of, where am I going to be in 2 years? How is my business going to look in 5 years? What are the things that I need to change now to get me to that point? Do you have a list of goals? What is the goal for the weekend? Everyone works for the weekend, but we're not everyone, right? We're not just trying to be average. We're trying to get better. We're trying to become people of value. So, what are the things that you're going to do over the weekend that it's going to move the ball down the field? Maybe you go outsourcing when you don't really need to, but maybe you have an opportunity to find those next best items. So I just say, work on yourself, keep working on yourself. You'd be surprised on where you end up. So I just really encourage you guys to keep taking action. Don't be a victim to eBay. Try new ideas, open mind. And if you guys are catching this on the replay and you have questions or comments, just ask and I'll try to get back to you guys. But I hope you all have a blessed weekend. I'm going to get to bed in an hour. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for the 44 people watching. And we'll see you on Monday. Take care.